Next is national law. National law means system of law of the state which is being enforced by the state through its law courts. It applies to all citizens and the whole territory of the state. It is the law established in a single country and applies to all the people in the state. In contemporary times, the laws passed by the legislature of the state, implemented by the executive, and adjudicated upon by the judiciary together constitute the system of national law. So, what is national law? National law means a law which is there in a particular region of the world, means particular state of the world. Okay, it applies to the all the people and the whole territory of the state. It is enforced by the courts of law. It means that it is that law which is made by the legislature, implemented by the executive, and adjudicated by the courts of law. Okay, it is the national law. Next is statutes or statutory law. Statutes. As we know that all the laws that are made by the legislature. Statutes means the laws enacted by the legislature of each state are called statutes or statutory laws. A statute is a written formal enactment of a legislative authority or the law-making body that is binding upon all and governs the people, groups, organizations, associations, and institutions of the people and their government. Statutory laws are also binding on the lawmakers and they also obey these. These are passed by the legislature in accordance with the powers given to it by the constitution of the state. So, what are statutory law? Statutory law means the law which is enacted by the legislature of each state. Means, for example, suppose Union Parliament, it is the legislature for the whole of the Indian state. So all the laws which are made by Union Parliament are called statutes. So this statutory law, it is binding on all the people, all the groups, all the organization and all the institutions. The statutory law is always binding on all the people who are making the laws. For example, as all the members of parliament or MPs, they are making any kind of law, statutory law will be binding on MPs also, and the MPs also they have to obey these laws. Okay, so a statutory law is always made by the legislature, but it is always made by the legislature in accordance with the procedure enumerated in the constitution of the law, in the constitution of the state. It is the constitution which prescribes the powers, functions, and all the limits within which the legislature can make laws. So statutory law means the law which is made by the parliament in accordance with the provisions of the constitution. So these are the four types of law. Next is we will just go through these next two types. Ordinances. What is ordinance? Ordinance means ad hoc law. An ordinance is always issued by the head of the state whenever the need arises. So what are the circumstances when the need can arise? Need can arise when the parliament of the state is not in session, and or when the parliament is on holidays. So when the parliament is not in session and the need arises for any kind of law, then the head of the state issues ordinances. These ordinances are temporary law, but they have the same status and same power as the law of the legislature. So these are the ordinances, and these have to be passed by the legislature whenever the legislature meets. Next is international law. International law means the body of law which regulate the behavior of the state at international level. International law, it is not binding on the state, okay, because every state is a sovereign state. So international law is not binding on any state. However, these are obeyed by the states because majority of the states are obeying these laws. So whenever majority of the states they are obeying international law, then all the other countries also obey international law. Okay, if any state does not obey the law, no punishment can be given to any state because every state is sovereign state. So these are the types of law. Okay, now we shall discuss back exercise, and you are to send me the answers of this all these questions when the privacy of the group is opened. First is one word. A body of law which relates to the behavior, actions, and interaction of the states beyond their national boundaries. So, body of law which regulates the behavior of state but beyond national boundaries. So when we are getting this hint beyond national boundaries, we are talking about one of the types of law. Next is, it is the supreme law of the land. So what is the supreme law of the land? Third, temporary or ad hoc rules. Temporary or ad hoc rules of the law which are needed at a time when the parliament is not in session. So one word, it is also the type of law. Next is fill-ups. Dash means the system of law of the state which is being enforced by the state through its law courts. It is also type of law. B, the laws enacted by the legislature of each state is called. So we are to answer the question. These are all the types of law. In this second fill up, the laws enacted by the legislature, what are they called? Third, dash means fairness and sense of justice. So it is the source of law. Okay, you are to write what is the answer to this third fill up. I'll just give you a hint. It is source of law. Okay, so next is MCQs. First MCQ is the word law has been derived from dash word lag. So you are to tell me the source of the word law. Okay, the root word, the root language. So the word law has been derived from dash word lag. Option A, Latin. B, French. C, Teutonic. D, German. Next is, it is one of the oldest sources of law. So what is the oldest source of law? A, custom. B, religion. C, equity. D, statutes. Okay, so next third, it is a situation based MCQ. In 2020, the parliament was not in a session and the president felt an urgent need of law on agriculture. Using his powers, he made a temporary law Which type of law is referred to in the above context? So, context is given that in the year 2020, the Indian Parliament was not in session. The President, who is the head of the Indian state, he felt that an urgent law on agricultural marketing or agriculture is needed. So, therefore, he made a temporary law, and we are to give the answer which law, which type of law was made by the president. Option A, national law. B, ordinances. C, constitutional law. D, public law. Next is fourth MCQ. Dash gives the authority to a legislative body the power to make, to amend, and enact laws. It gives the authority to the executive to issue ordinances. So, in this context, we are to tell the name of the body which gives the powers to legislature to make law, and we are also to and that same body, it is giving authority to the legislature to issue ordinances. So what is that authority or what is that power? Option A, municipal law. B, constitutional law. C, administrative law. D, public law. Okay, so these are the four options. Dear students, your homework for today is that you are to send me the answers of all these MCQs, all these fill-ups, and all these one word. So today we discussed about the types of law. Firstly, constitutional law. It is the supreme law of the land. B, municipal law means the domestic law. C, national law, which is enforced by the state through its law courts. Statutes or statutory law means the law which is made by the parliament. Then ordinances, temporary law issued by the head of the state. International law, the law which is followed by the nations at international level. So please send me the answers of MCQs, one word and fill-ups when the privacy of the group is open. Thank you so much.